Welcome back to More Than Gardening. Today is Wednesday, August 12th, and we are going to take you around today and show you how the garden is doing for August. Now, August is kind of like a weird time because some of these beds are in a state of transition where they're flipping from like spring to fall crops, so there's not much to see. And then other crops, like all the summer stuff, is producing like crazy. So like that's good about them, but the plants themselves are really starting to die off. So it's kind of like two ends of extremes here in the garden right now. If this is the first time that you're clicking on my channel, welcome to the More Than Gardening YouTube channel. My name is Sam. I garden in Michigan, Zone 6A, and I have 14 raised beds behind me. I have 3 16-foot cattle panel trellises and 1 giant cattle panel trellis that's made up of 4 16-foot panels. I've got 2 pots with plants growing in them, some peach trees, raspberry bushes, and yeah, so quite a variety, but the majority is raised bed gardening. I grow everything from seed every single year. Maybe about like 60% of that is seed started inside and then transplanted out as seedlings, and then the other like 40-ish%, and that's a very big guess, one year I'll actually count. The other 40-ish% is seed started directly into the garden. Starting with these 2 beds, because there's not much going on. These were just my onion beds that were harvested maybe like 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago at this point. They now have carrot seeds in them right now and they're germinating, so not much to see above ground, but a lot going on underneath the soil because I'm sure those carrot seeds are getting to work germinating. Hopefully we'll see them in the next week or so. Along this cattle panel trellis, I'm not going to talk about it too long because this is one of my failures. Cantaloupe, which every year I seem to not be able to grow. I'm hanging on to hope with cantaloupe because in 2024, I grew really big cantaloupe plants that stretched to like here, and there were a ton of melons on the cattle panel, and then a deer came through and ate them all. So I keep telling myself as long as I can protect my garden against the deer, which we've done a good job at now, that maybe I can grow cantaloupe. But the last 2 years, I've just failed because this is, I mean, it's August, like I said, and this is the biggest plant. Like, that's kind of ridiculous. And then over here on this cattle panel is cucamelon. It's my first year growing it, and I grew it because everyone online said it was super fun to grow. I can't say that I'm like really happy with that decision yet. It's kind of giving nothing right now, but there are a few cucamelons starting to form, so I guess we'll see if it turns into anything fun. So I haven't done zucchini as like an early summer crop in a couple years because my thinking is if I plant it late, vine borer will dodge it, and I'm hoping that works again this year. So I've got 2 zucchini plants here. This one is much further ahead because I planted it and nothing disturbed it, where this one here, I planted it and somebody or something came and ripped it out a few days later. So I had to replant. Luckily I had extra seedlings. So that's why they're kind of off a little bit, but so far they're looking pretty good. Hopefully we can get zucchini before first frost in October. This bed has fall broccoli in it. I planted these today, so they look a little floppy because they need to be watered in really badly. I didn't water them after I planted them, and this bed also needs netting. I just ran out of time today while I was planting these. I don't know if that video will go live before or after this, but if you see that video, you'll know what I'm talking about. I just totally ran out of time. So this is 8, yeah, this is 8 broccoli plants. My first time doing broccoli in the fall. The variety is Imperial and I think some Bell Stars. This bed over here is going to have romaine lettuce in the front here. I've got to start those seeds tomorrow morning, but in the back is oregano and parsley. And it looks kind of crazy because I just did a huge harvest of all of these herbs like 3 days ago. So now they're kind of coming back to hopefully, not hopefully, they will give me more before the end of the season, but that's why they look a little disheveled. They were just harvested. And then this bed, again, like the other one, is all broccoli that was planted today. Needs to be watered in, needs netting over it to protect it from the cabbage moths, but I think they're gonna do pretty good this fall. I'm excited to see how broccoli does in the fall because I've heard it's much easier than spring, summer broccoli. And I really hope that's the case because my broccoli this spring did so bad because of the hot heat. So I'm really relying on this fall broccoli to do something for me. This is the 3rd bed of broccoli. This was carrots. I harvested those this morning and quickly flipped it into broccoli. I've got 11 plants here, and these are Bell Star and Eastern Magic. The Bell Star I've grown before and it's done pretty good in the heat. Eastern Magic's a new variety for me, so hopefully it does good too. This trellis on this side did have pickling cucumbers. The cucumber beetles won this year. They totally defeated them, so I just ripped them out because they They look so bad. On this side of the trellis, I have some more pickling cucumbers, the Gherkin variety. I just harvested some today, so there's not much on this plant. You can see these also got a visit by deer, and then some bacterial wilt is starting to take over these cucumbers too. I don't know if you can see this leaf. It's really, oh, and see there's 2 cucumber. Oh my gosh. Jeez Louise. That was like 6 of them. Well, I guess my sticky traps aren't working anymore. Oh my gosh, I hate cucumber beetles. Yeah, and then this one was supposed to be Marketmore cucumbers. I have a feeling this plant's about to die because this looks like it's about to die. And I'm seeing some wilt. So big bummer from the cucumbers. I did go to a farmer's market yesterday and I picked up 2 pecks of pickling cucumbers. I ended up giving 1 to a friend because I did not need all of those cucumbers. And I went ahead and made a ton of pickles. I made 17 jars, roughly like half were sliced like sandwich pickles and the other were spears, because I have to have pickles every year and my garden didn't give me cucumbers like I'd planned on it. So I guess let this be your sign, your reminder that you can preserve stuff that you don't grow yourself. If you really want to make like homemade stuff or can some things this year and something doesn't go right in your garden, hit up a farmer's market because they have really great prices usually, and it's usually local, most likely, hopefully organic, and you can still fill your shelves even if something goes bad in your garden. This bed is all bush beans, and I've never grown an entire bed of just bush beans, so I'm very excited to see how many beans I get. Green beans are one of my favorite vegetables and they're very easy to preserve. My preferred method is just blanching them and putting them straight into the freezer. Freeze drying is also a good way. Not a huge fan of canned green beans, but if you are, go at it. This is the Contender variety. And so far they're looking really good. There's not really any pressure from the Japanese beetles. I had a ton of Japanese beetles from like basically the entire month of July, and then recently they just disappeared. So I don't know if they're gonna come back and attack this bed of bush beans. I really hope not, because this looks beautiful right now, but you can never really count on the Japanese beetles staying away for too long. So I'm not gonna hold my breath on that one. This trellis right here is Kentucky Wonder pole beans. So I've got a whole bed of green beans and then a whole trellis of green beans because I love green beans. And Dylan, if you want to come in here, there are a ton of green beans. I just harvested this morning, so there's not like, oh my gosh, ooh, I'm scared to talk. They're gonna go in my mouth. Okay, come over here. You gotta come through the bugs. You have to see these beans. Look at these beans. And they're literally everywhere. I harvested this morning, so there's not a ton right now, but I mean, give these a couple days and they're all gonna look really good. I think we're already, like last night we were talking about what we're gonna do for next year's garden, and the squash trellis, which I'll show you guys in a second, we might do that all green beans, just because clearly I'm pretty good at growing green beans, or they're just a really easy crop to grow, because every year my green bean trellis just looks so beautiful. And I'm very, very proud of this one. And the bed next to the green beans is 1 of 2 of the peppers, and these are really starting to put peppers out. There are bell peppers, kind of where Dylan's at with the camera right now, and then when you move in, there's poblanos, banana peppers. There are the candy cane chocolate cherry, or is it the chocolate cherry candy cane? I can never remember the variety. I will write it on the screen again. I think I had to do that for my July tour too, but those are all coming in over here. I've got bell peppers over here coming in. The banana pepper plant right here probably has, I'm not even kidding you guys, probably 20 peppers on it. It is going insane, which is about time, because I've been waiting a long time for my banana peppers to do something. Now, this is my squash trellis, and I have very mixed feelings about this because it's pretty ugly and it's kind of a fail this year. However, I have this giant, what is this, the zucchino rampicante or tromboncino, if I'm saying that right, squash right here. I have another one in here. I don't even know if people just see it through all of the disgusting dead leaves. It starts all the way down here. Actually, it's this big. That's how big it is. And that's honestly, this one up here is probably a very similar size. I do have a question for you guys that grow this variety. I keep hearing that you can harvest them when they're green and it tastes kind of like a zucchini, or you can let them dry out and turn orange and it'll taste similar to a butternut squash. Is this green enough? Like, can I harvest this squash right now, or do I need to wait a little bit? I'm really not sure, and I would like to harvest it because I haven't had any fresh squash this summer yet. And I also have this one over here. I could maybe harvest this one. I only have 2 honey nuts, that one there and this one here. In the beginning of, was it like July, when these squash plants really started taking off, there were a ton of honey nut squashes. And then none of them got pollinated and they all just started falling off. And then this plant hasn't really been putting out new ones ever since. So I don't know. There shouldn't be vine borer because they're supposed to be resistant to vine borer. And honestly, the leaves don't look like there's vine borer. I feel like maybe, there's not even squash bugs. I haven't even found squash bugs on them. I don't know what the issue is. Maybe I'm just bad at growing squash over there. This side's the butternut and it's doing a little bit better. Actually a lot of bit better because I've got one here, one here. I've got one there. And then I have a few smaller ones over here, like this one up here. I have another one coming over here that I just saw. Oh, thank you. Right there. And then if you want to come over here, Dylan, I don't know if you can see this one over here. And for the amount of plants that I have, I should definitely have a lot more squash on this trellis. So I am toying with the idea of next year not putting squash on this trellis and really maximizing it with green beans because I'm good at green beans and that could be really pretty. And I'm debating growing, because butternut's like one of my favorite squash. I found this variety online the other day. It was called like butterbush butternut squash from Burpee. And supposedly it grows in more of like a bush style rather than vining type. And it's still squash vine borer resistant. So I'm thinking about growing those in just like a random raised bed and skipping the squash on the trellis because it's so ugly this year. But I don't know. We'll figure that out when it's time to plant next year's garden. This is my second pepper bed and it is doing so good. I'm so happy I put the peppers in this spot this year because last year I put them in such a bad spot. My plants are kind of going crazy. There are a million jalapenos on every single one of these plants. There's some down here. If you can see that one, it's kind of hard to see. There. If you like pickled jalapenos, I've got a video on my channel that I just posted this past week on how to pickle these. It's a really, really simple, easy recipe if that's what you're into. I've got 2 Serrano plants here and here. And then I thought I had 2 habanero plants back here. However, I harvested them and turns out they're Scotch bonnets. So I don't really know what happened to the seed packet, but now we have Scotch bonnet peppers, which doesn't really matter because I think they're just as spicy as habaneros. And I use the habaneros just to go in salsa anyways. So if I'm gonna have a seed mix up, it's not the worst one. Back in here, there's a few Thai chili plants and then I've got some cayennes. These cayenne pepper plants, so like this one here, and this one were really yellow and they had barely any peppers on them and they were doing super bad this year because I had giant dill plants, if you remember from my last tour, all on this border, just sucking up all the nutrients, all the water, taking the sunlight, and these plants couldn't handle it. So I ripped those out, and ever since I ripped those out, like 2 weeks later, these are all nice dark green color. All the new growth is nice and green. They're putting on a ton of peppers, and I feel like they're gonna have a good comeback, which I need them to because I use my cayennes to make cayenne powder every year, and I really don't wanna miss out this year because of the dill. So that's a lesson for next year. I'm not gonna plant dill so close to my peppers. This is my San Marzano bed, and this is the first of 2 very disappointing tomato beds this year. Usually at this point in the season, these tomato plants are as tall as the T-post next to them. I don't know exactly what's going on with this bed and then the tomato bed behind it, which we'll get to. They're just like disappointing. At first I thought it was because these 2 beds get the most sunlight and maybe it was too much sun, too much heat, but it's really cooled down these last couple of weeks and they haven't really like made a comeback. Now I'm wondering, I was looking back at footage from this spring when I was like prepping all the beds, and these 2 beds got a ton of compost from our compost pile and not all of it was totally decomposed. So I'm wondering if like underneath in here, there's a bunch of like compost not fully composted and it's giving off a lot of heat because compost gets really, really hot while it's decomposing. And I'm wondering if that's happening and kind of like burning the plants from the soil. That's like one theory I have right now, because other than that, I can't think of any other reason that these 2 beds would do so bad. And that's the only, oh my gosh, a huge hornworm.
Oh, really?
Oh my gosh, look at this sucker. Do you see him?
Yeah.
Ew. You're gonna have to, I don't know if I can get there. All right. It's gonna be quick. You should back up because I might fling you. Okay.
Okay.
Goodbye. Oh my gosh. I hate bugs, but yeah, anyways, that's why I think these 2 beds are doing bad. This is the other one, kind of like what I was just saying. It's doing bad. These ones are usually as tall as their T-posts. Again, they're not. This plant's doing pretty good. This is this brown torch one where I got the seeds sent to me from somebody out in California. We are really liking these tomatoes and it's getting nice and tall. The zinnias are doing beautiful. I mean, they're really starting to do something. It's really just the tomatoes that are doing bad because that marigold plant over there is doing really good. And those zinnias over there are really beautiful. So maybe it's not the soil. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's the way the tomatoes are reacting to the soil. I don't know. I'm not gonna have tomatoes in these beds next year, so won't be a problem. This bed is the first of 3 Roma beds, and this bed was doing the worst. I think on my last tour, or at least a month ago, it was doing so bad because blight was totally taking over. And then I started spraying it for blight. I was using Captain Jack's copper fungicide at first, and then that was getting kind of expensive because one spray bottle didn't even make it over all my beds, and it's like 10 bucks a pop. So then I tried using the Xeritol HC that I got from Home and Garden Supply via Amazon, and that's been working really well in controlling the blight. So this bed is doing really good, and I'm getting a ton of aromas. I'm filling my harvest basket every other morning right now with tomatoes. I canned up like 14 jars of salsa last week, and I think I have more tomatoes sitting on my counter right now than I did before I canned those. So I probably have another like 20 jars of salsa to do later this week. There is a little bit of blossom end rot happening right now, which I always get blossom end rot on my aromas, but usually it's just in like the first batch of tomatoes and then it goes away. This year it was like a couple in the first batch, but like not very many. And then I had a ton of good tomatoes and now I'm starting to see it come up again. This isn't really blossom end rot. I guess this one, I don't even know if this is blossom end rot. This looks like maybe even something else. I just came through here this morning and picked a lot of them off. So, oh, here's a good example. It doesn't take long to find one. So I'm still dealing with a lot of rot. At this point, I don't know, it might be a variety thing, but I love this variety because the tomatoes it gives me are so big. So I don't know if I'm gonna ditch this variety yet, but I might just do even more eggshells and even more calcium in it this fall and next spring. This is just same thing, another Roma bed. This one got really bad blight, and yeah, I had to get like heavily pruned. You can kind of see just how light green these plants look, but also you guys, it is August. It is pretty normal for the plants to look like this time of year. So if yours look like this, I wouldn't be too concerned. It usually doesn't affect the output too bad. So I try not to prune everything away. People always ask like, do you prune away all of the diseased leaves? And I say no, because at a certain point, pretty much August, if you start cutting back every single leaf and branch that is diseased, you're not gonna have a plant left. And you need plant to photosynthesize to get energy to create fruit. So I kind of just prune some, leave some. I need to leave some on the plant so I get tomatoes still. And yeah, in August, it's kind of inevitable that your plants are gonna start dying back. This third bed, as you can see, is another example. This one, whoa, I did not even know this was happening this bad. I guess this one's yellowing more than I thought, but again, it's not that big of a deal. Oh, I've got 4 tomatoes sitting right here, all with rot. I must have picked them this morning. And then, oh, this side, didn't do anything with them. I guess I'm leaving these for, I don't know, a chipmunk or something that wants a snack. But yeah, I mean, they're not great, but in August, this is kind of what you get. I'm still getting enough tomatoes to can everything I want, so I am still happy with them. I'm not gonna take you guys through the peach trees or the raspberry bushes because there's no progress since July. We're not good at fruit. I think it's the soil. We have really clayey soil here, and I have been told that raspberries need really good soil to produce a lot. So we've gotten like berries here and there, but I mean like 1 berry here, 2 berries there, nothing even worth harvesting. It's kind of like we see them and then we pick them and then we just eat them right away. So I don't know if it's because this is only our 2nd year with the bushes that they're not producing, or if it's a soil issue, or maybe there are more berries being produced that we don't know about because the birds are getting them first. I don't know. The peaches are still kind of recovering from the 2 things happening. 1, we planted them only last year, they're very young, and 2, they got attacked by deer last year. So they're in a state of recovery right now, and maybe next year we'll get fruit. But yeah, this year they're not the best, and I'm not gonna take you through them because they look the same as they did in July. Let me know in the comment section how your garden is doing, if yours looks similar to mine, different, what's doing good this time of year, what's kind of like not doing good. I feel like right now is where like a lot of gardeners start to get burnout, and I usually do too. So if you're at that phase, I'm with you. Don't feel bad about it. The only reason I have a little more energy this year is because I have so many fall crops that I just planted today, like the broccoli that is like sparking like new joy in me for the fall garden. So I'm very excited to see how those are doing. So if you want to keep up with the garden the rest of the season and you're not already, make sure to subscribe. And if you like this video, please leave a like. If you've got any questions on anything, leave them in the comments of this video, and stay tuned for more gardening content. It's August, but there's still a ton left to grow, a ton left to preserve, and I'm going to take you guys with me the whole way. Thank you again for clicking on this video, supporting my channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.